just in time for the holidays when we magically float from Christmas to New Year's. I'll tell you the outlook for that time, and live from downtown Marquette, it's your 19 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Blakely. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, the Supreme Court declines for now to take up a landmark case over whether former President Trump is absolutely immune from prosecution for alleged crimes committed while in office. Tonight, the similar cases in other states and what happens next. Plus, why General Motors is buying up dealerships from a specific car brand around the country. And if it seems your allergies are flaring up, why doctors say it could be coming from something inside your home. Your 19 News starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
For all you late night drivers out there, we have some potentially dangerous conditions on the way tonight.
We absolutely do. We've got that drizzle continuing and we have fog alerts, friends. We could see some patchy freezing drizzle, especially along that interior with our temperatures dipping down even into those low 30s, so below freezing, 30 to 35 degrees. That visibility with the fog could be a quarter of a mile or less. I almost said inch, but nope, it's a quarter of a mile or less. Remember to have those low beams on, give extra space, and slow down. Temperatures right now still in that 30-degree range, and as you can see, we definitely have fog in those areas, Baraga, Marquette, Iron, and down in Dickinson and Menominee counties. So if you are headed out tonight, please drive safe. I'll have more on the way after the break.
Thank you very much, Ariane. New at 11, a Supreme Court order issued Friday could delay the March 2024 start of former President Donald Trump's trial on charges that he interfered in the 2020 presidential election. The issue focusing on the question of presidential immunity will now be heard by a federal appeals court next month. Erica Brown has the report from Washington.
The Supreme Court decided against immediately taking up special counsel Jack Smith's plea to rule on whether Donald Trump can be prosecuted for his actions to overturn the 2020 election results. The former president and his lawyers have worked to delay the criminal cases against him as he campaigns for the White House again. Trump posted a response to the decision on social media saying, in part, "Of course I am entitled to presidential immunity. I was president. It was my right and duty to investigate and speak on the rigged and stolen 2020 presidential election."
Trump has said, all of my charges must be dismissed. This case must stop because I am completely immune. These acts were based on acts I undertook when I was president. We actually don't have a Supreme Court ruling on this, which is not surprising because we've never had a former president engaged in this alleged behavior before.
Next, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit will have to decide on the issue. That could slow the timeline for Trump's criminal trial scheduled to begin early March. Special counsel Smith wanted to bypass the appeals court in part to avoid having the case begin during the presidential election. The appeals court is set to hear arguments on January 9th.
Trump has also been charged with illegally hoarding classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate. In Georgia, state prosecutors accused him of scheming to subvert that state's presidential race. While in New York, the former president is accused in connection with a hush money payment to an adult film actress. General Motors is buying out some Buick dealerships nationwide as part of its shift to electric vehicle manufacturing and sales as a focus. Dealers had an option: continue their affiliation with the iconic brand and the electric revolution, or drop the brand. Darylyn Horn reports nearly half of Buick dealers nationwide have taken the buyout.
We didn't lose dealerships, we just lost a franchise, a low-volume franchise at a dealership.
The new buyout deal offered by General Motors to Buick dealers is a win-win for everyone. That's according to Tony Young, who owns this Buick GMC dealership in Owasso and 3 others.
And we have 2 dealerships in our group that that took that buyout.
It was announced today that nearly half of the Buick dealerships across the country decided to drop the affiliation rather than invest in selling EVs, adding that tools, training, equipment, and charging stations to one dealership can cost around $400,000.
The Chevy Buick dealers, the majority of them took the buyout on their Buick franchise because they could rely on Chevrolet, which is the lead volume vehicle, so they'd never make their money back if they signed up for the electric car for Buick.
A GM spokesperson says Buick dealerships in more rural areas will likely take the voluntary deal. An EV expert says there's a reason for that.
A lot of urban and suburban families will decide that an EV fits their lifestyle than maybe a customer in a rural environment that has a long way to drive.
MSU professor Wolfgang Bauer says this buyout deal is similar to the one many GM dealerships took back in 2008.
Buick dealership in Lansing had actually taken on Pontiac, and then they were disappointed by Pontiac being discontinued. Will they invest in a technology where they're not sure that it's actually going to be profitable for them?
It's not clear which other dealers are taking the buyout, but Young says Buick fans don't need to worry.
Don't give up on your local dealer, and if you really want a Buick, there's Buick dealers close by.
The GM spokesperson says that nearly 90% of the U.S. population will remain within 25 miles of a Buick dealership, and by next year, there will be only 1,000 Buick dealerships nationwide. According to the National Fire Protection Agency, almost half of the home decoration fires in December are started by candles. Christmas is the peak day of the year for candle fires, and more than 1 in 5 Christmas tree fires are started by a heat source too close to the tree. The agency recommends using battery-operated flameless candles instead and keeping your tree at least 3 feet away from heaters and vents. The Iron Mountain City Fire Inspector says it's important to make sure you don't overload extension cords and pay attention to your Christmas decorations.
If you do have a real tree, please try to water it as much as possible and keep it from drying out, because we have heard about that happening all over the place. But the big one we actually see in our city is chimney fires. When people start lighting their furnaces and stoves and everything, and they forget to clean out their chimneys for the year, and the soot builds up and it will start on fire in the chimney.
Meanwhile, the Iron Mountain Fire Inspector also says the City Fire Department needs more firefighters. The City Fire Department has been trying to hire more part-time staff for the last couple of years. The department currently has 7 part-time firefighters compared to about a decade ago when the department had 15 part-time firefighters. Still trying to staff the same amount of seats, many of the full-timers have been working 24 to 48 hours of overtime every week. The department is also interested in hearing from the community on expanding other emergency services.
We would love to know from the community if that would be a service that they would like us to provide in the future, like moving towards and having an ambulance here in this building and transporting to the hospital for the citizens of Iron Mountain.
She expects the next training opportunity to take place in January. Anyone interested can just call the fire department. 'Tis the season for sneezing and coughing, but it could be what's inside your house this holiday season that's making you feel lousy. Jared Hill tells how your Christmas tree can be causing those indoor allergies to flare up.
This holiday staple could be the reason for a lot of the coughing and sneezing during the season, and it even has a name: Christmas tree syndrome.
When you bring in a Christmas tree into the home, people have worsening allergy symptoms.
Dr. Devon Preston is an allergist with the Cleveland Clinic. He says people think it's the pine pollen from real trees that's causing the problems, but
it's more of the weed pollens and mold spores that are collecting on the Christmas trees, and then you bring them into the home, and then those pollens kind of drop off and make a lot of your symptoms worse. People just don't think about the fact that they may need to clean their trees off before bringing them in the home.
If you have an artificial tree, you're not out of the woods. Allergens like dust and mold can build up on the tree and decorations while they're being stored and trigger symptoms.
We tend to store them in places in the home that have a lot of dust and dust mites. They're put in places that are moist and very warm, so you can generate mold. And we rarely keep these decorations and artificial tree in an airtight container.
Now, if you choose a real tree, experts say it's best to toss it right after the holidays. That's because mold can continue to grow on the tree.
If you really have significant allergies, it may be a good time to put an air purifier next to the tree. If all of that still doesn't work, then it's time to think about some of the over-the-counter nasal steroids, nasal antihistamines, or oral antihistamines to help with those symptoms.
So you can enjoy your tree and all the trimmings.
Having an allergy to pine trees is actually uncommon, but doctors say the pine smell can also irritate the sinuses and lungs. Your first warning weather forecast is coming up after this break. Plus, take a ride through the North Woods in a 2-horse open sleigh. We'll show you where you can do that. And the history behind Michigan's Capitol Christmas tree and where it came from this year. We're back in 2 minutes.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
The wait is over. England Furniture's quick shipping is back at Kirkish Furniture. Choose your style and fabric and receive your furniture in as little as 30 days. Browse our in-stock selection or let our staff help you customize the perfect sofa or chair. Plus, 1-year free financing and free delivery.
Menards is celebrating Ryan Blaney's NASCAR Championship with 12% off everything till Christmas. Known for innovative designs and affordable prices, Works provides power and ease to get the job done right. Upgrade your power tool collection with a Works 20-volt cordless drill driver, delivering dependable performance in a lightweight, compact design. Right now, get 12% off all Works 20-volt power share products.
Merry Christmas and enjoy your 12% off everything.
Tonight,
hey buddy, just checking in. It's Donnie.
Jake Gyllenhaal takes the Colbert Questionnaire and Taraji P. Henson. Tonight on CBS.
John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to get their car fixed. John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to fix their car. Was that right? For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Market. Why do I keep forgetting that word? Experience. Okay, go. 3, 2. For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Marquette.
And don't forget, we're our
Now, WZMQ 19 News First Warning Weather with Ariane Stasek.
Well, friends, we have some patchy fog and drizzle for our morning as well. Not recommending any travel unless you are maybe heading towards the bridge, but they could also see some fog and drizzle. The afternoon's looking a little bit better, but even better travel conditions expected for Sunday if you can hold off until then. So fog alerts, like I mentioned, we've got them all the way over into Minnesota, but let's focus on what we're dealing with here. So Baraga, Iron, Marquette, Dickinson, Menominee, and now Delta County have all been included in this advisory until 10 a.m. Central Time or 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So a quarter-mile visibility or less. And if you're headed down into Wisconsin, just a heads up that fog will be waiting for you down there. So taking a look tomorrow morning, we'll see that fog continuing till about 11 a.m. when things kind of slow down a little bit, but that fog likely to return in the morning for Sunday, mostly over in the east portion there. But again, if you're heading down towards the Mitten, you should be okay for now. Maybe head on down to US 2 and follow Lake Michigan. Temps right now in that 30-degree range. We'll expect them to drop down into the low 30s this evening. Those winds coming out of the south-southeast still sticking around into our holiday weekend. And like I mentioned, those lows could be dipping down into the lower 30s, especially in the interior. Our weekend outlook, fog drizzle, maybe some presents coming our way. And then Sunday, we could see a little bit of sunshine here and there. Those temperatures still warming up. We could be close to 50 degrees on Sunday. Right now, a lot of activity just south of us down in Wisconsin, as well as the Lower Peninsula, but we're looking fairly clear. When I say Lower Peninsula, I mean way down there. So clouds continuing to roll in. Again, we could see some of this drizzle freezing tonight into the early hours of tomorrow. And again, we will expect mostly cloudy skies into our Sunday. Not a whole lot of excitement as far as that goes. But you know what? At least there's not a blizzard on the way. Oh dear, I just said that. So maybe there is one. Okay, snowfall climatology per the National Weather Service. Remember, their records go back to the 1960s, but the lowest total snow into Christmas was 2015, where we had 16.7 inches. But according to the National Weather Service, the last 3 out of 4 late starts as far as snowfall for the season have made up in the end and hit close to 150 inches there by the end of the season. So don't worry, friends, we'll get some skiing and sledding on the way. It just might not be until 2024. Our 7-day outlook for Marquette, we've got temperatures warming up and that rain continuing into next week, possibly freezing on Tuesday.
We all just need to do the Heike Lunta dance for all of the sled dog races this year. Thank you very much, Ariane. Drivers heading to their Christmas destinations are also seeing relatively lower gas prices, but AAA says it may not last too much longer. The agency says a robust gas demand is causing prices at the pump to fluctuate. Today was the first weekly increase nationally since September. Michigan's average is about mid-range nationally at $2.94 a gallon. In the UP, Mackinac County has the highest countywide average, while Dickinson County is seeing the lowest countywide average in the state. AAA says drivers may continue to see pump prices fluctuate slightly during this heavy travel season. And with Christmas just a few days away, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, is preparing for its annual mission, tracking Santa around the globe. The tradition began in 1948 when a child mistakenly called NORAD's headquarters and asked to speak with Santa Claus. Since then, thousands of volunteers handle the phone lines, answering calls from children all around the world, providing them updates on Santa's location.
We have our radar system, including the North Warning System. We have satellites that track him from overhead. And then when he's in American and Canadian airspace, we have fighter jets that escort him and make sure he gets to where he safely needs to be.
The NORAD Santa Tracker will start at midnight December 24th and run through midnight on December 25th. The holiday season brings on all kinds of traditions, but sometimes the Christmas spirit is found outdoors. WZMQ's Mitchell Reif went to the Up North Lodge in Gwynn to catch a glimpse of the Christmas season behind the sleigh.
Over the Carp River and through these North Woods, there's more than just a community awaiting a winter wonderland.
Yep, this is Liza, and this is Duke.
14-year-olds Liza and Duke are both Belgian horses that live at the Up North Lodge in Gwynn.
Liza on this side has only been with us a month.
Alongside sleigh drivers and around 80 acres of land, the coupled trotters gift the community with a Wonderland sleigh ride. Up North Lodge manager Jesse Melkery says when the lodge was originally called the Red Horse Range, there was always sleigh rides, and after a brief pause, it was time to bring it back.
Called my dad and said, hey, it's time to bring the sleigh rides back. And he said, who's we? Do you got a mouse in your pocket? And I said, no, Dad, me and you.
The sleigh experience takes riders through 80 acres of undeveloped UP backcountry to enjoy behind the reins.
You pull straight back. Okay. Okay, you ready? And then you keep attention on them so they walk. Okay. Come on, Duke. Come on, Liza.
She's got horse statues all over
the sleigh rides are running up until the end of March, and in only a couple of weeks, the lodge will hit around 105 sleigh rides since just December 1st.
So that's 105 different friends and family groups that are able to come out and spend the day here.
You never know the hidden treasures you might find in the UP, and one of them is right here at the Up North Lodge. For WZMQ 19 News, I'm Mitchell Reif in Gwynn.
The sleigh rides can fit up to 20 people. The cost is $15 for adults and $10 for the kids. Down in Lansing, the 36th Capitol Christmas tree is shining brightly for the whole holiday season. This year's tree is a 60-foot tall spruce from Onaway, Michigan, decorated with 6,650 lights. It takes partners from the city, the Lansing Board of Water and Light, and the Entertainment and Public Facilities Authority a few months to decorate the downtown area for the holidays. Every year, the holiday season kicks off before Thanksgiving with the Silver Bells in the City celebration. This year's tree was donated by Onaway resident Vic Rupert and his family in honor of his late wife, Shirley. Still ahead tonight, it's become a Christmas classic and one of my all-time favorites, how New York City is celebrating the 20th anniversary of Elf.
Cars will break down, and when they do, it's too late. If your car is out of warranty, it leaves you with two choices: get stuck paying for expensive repairs, or one phone call to CarShield. Their administrators pay for your covered repairs so you don't have to. Your coverage includes roadside assistance, towing, rental, and so much more. Plus, with their nationwide network, you choose the mechanic or dealer. Best of all, there's coverage for every wallet size. Make the smart call before it's too late. Call CarShield today.
Protecting America at sea, that's the role of the United States Navy and the men and women who serve both at sea and on land. I'm Renata Steele on the USS George Washington in the Atlantic to give you a behind-the-scenes view of the role of the Navy and share stories with sailors who are serving. Join us for Valor at Sea, only on WZMQ.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, only on 19 News at 6.
I'm Emilio Colon. Come with me on a journey to discover the historic town squares of Ponce and Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. In the next episode of Music in Puerto Rico, we'll experience history come to life through the universal language of music. Let's explore the vibrant cultural and commercial heritage of these fascinating cities.
You're watching the award-winning WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Sarah Blakely.
If you're still thinking about what to make for breakfast on Christmas morning, the Upper Goddess has an idea for you.
Hi, what are we making, Dean?
Bagelicious.
The bagels I made the other day were amazing, but we're making Asiago jalapeno bagels. So here's how you're gonna do it. 4.5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Now, if you put your yeast in water and it doesn't look like this, you're gonna have to start over because your yeast has had it. Because that's working right there, so you know you're good. So I have 5 ounces of Asiago cheese here and 2 jalapenos. So you're gonna mix this really quick by hand to give your mixer a little start. And it's gonna be like a shaggy mix, see? So I'm gonna put this on my mixer and I'm gonna let it go for like 7 minutes, but I'm gonna show you how to test your dough to make sure that it has kneaded enough. My dough has been on the mixer for about 11 minutes. So what you want is you wanna spread your dough and you can see light through it. So now you know you're gonna let this sit for an hour or until it's double. So I punched the dough down, Dean.
Yep.
Took a while for it to rise, and if you don't have it in a warm place, it will. So you're gonna cut it in half, cut it in quarters, and cut those quarters in half, and you're gonna get 8 pieces. So what you're gonna do is bring your dough up like this and pinch it on the bottom. Okay, pretty easy, hey? Look at all the jalapenos. And then you're gonna, my counter's clean, just to let you know. This is my little tile that I knead dough on. So look at how cute. You get this circle and you're gonna pinch it. And you're gonna make a hole.
Can't follow your hands that fast.
I know, I hate when I do that. These are gonna sit for 20 minutes and then the next we're gonna boil them. That's the fun part. So here's our little bagel that's been sitting for about 25 minutes, and now we're gonna put it in this pot of water. So there's 3 quarts of water here with 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and a teaspoon of baking soda. So you're gonna cook these for 1 minute on each side, okay? And then this is what we do, Dean, down here. Look it. You put your Asiago cheese and your jalapenos on there, and I usually fill the hole. So if you want a smaller hole, you can just make a smaller hole. Sometimes they puff up a lot, you know, and the hole gets closed in. But yeah, so when we come back, you'll see what they look like after they're baked. Check out the Asiago jalapeno bagels. I made a double batch. And look at this little one. I'm gonna cut this so we can see what it looks like. They're so soft and chewy. That's what the bread flour does it, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the jalapenos.
Pretty cool.
So what we're having for dinner is a burger with an egg on this.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine when your friends come over, or your relatives for Christmas, make a batch of these and surprise them for breakfast with some really good cream cheese. Give it a try. Keep smiling.
Well, every family has their favorite holiday movie to watch this time of year, and for many, that movie is Elf, starring Will Ferrell. As Bradley Blackburn explains, Buddy the Elf is celebrating a big anniversary this year, and plenty of fans are joining in.
Just cool it. It's hard to believe it. You sit on a throne of lies. But the holiday hit Elf turns 20 this year. Watching Will Ferrell's Buddy has become a tradition for generations. When's the last time you watched Elf?
On the airplane on the way over here 3 days ago.
Even after 2 decades, fans come to New York to trace Buddy's steps, including at the Empire State Building, where his father worked in the film. He walked right through here. Absolutely, right through that door. This year, the building's on board with the celebration. In the lobby, windows tie into the movie. Clips are even part of their new museum.
I work at the Empire State Building is when he takes off and just all the buttons in the elevator get touched, and then he makes it to the top. That's my favorite.
86 floors up at the famous observatory, Buddy is grabbing attention too, along with the views. The coordinators visiting from Scotland are checking off several of the movie's locations.
The film's fantastic. We went to Central Park earlier and we saw where the snowball fights were, so we just love it.
And it's not just here, high above the Big Apple. Fans across the country are finding ways to celebrate this sweet anniversary.
There's an Elf empire of products, from maple syrup goldfish to Krispy Kreme donuts. Meal kit maker HelloFresh has an Elf option with pasta, syrup, and candy, so you can fix breakfast just like Buddy. The company says they sold out.
Good? Good.
A modern-day Christmas story that's proven its staying power.
You think people will still be watching it 20 years from now?
Yeah, I know I will be.
And earned the kind of love.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
That lasts.
Oh, I love that movie so much. Elf is still the 8th highest grossing Christmas film ever released. Number 1 is 2018's The Grinch, followed by Home Alone and Home Alone 2. We have some freezing drizzle possible overnight that could extend into tomorrow morning. Ariane has the outlook on the way for us. And the new axe throwing business now open in Negaunee Township. That's our final story after this break.
Shop hundreds of Lazy Boys at Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. Kick back in comfort in an industry-leading recliner. Choose from all fabrics, colors, and sizes with prices starting as low as $4.99 plus free delivery. Shop Kirkish Furniture in Houghton today.
If you're over 40, we want you to think ahead for just a moment. Imagine your retirement having all the money you need, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor. Secure Future utilizes an indexed annuity tied to the U.S. stock market, but without any risk of loss, ever. That's right. No matter what happens in the market, your investment can never decline. Down years, you're insured against any losses. boom years, your retirement account grows exponentially to increase your worth. Whether the market is up or down, Secure Future Investor can set you up with guaranteed money for life income. It's the difference between thinking you have enough money to retire and knowing you're getting that retirement check every single month for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. Over 40 years old? Call now. Call 888-861-2298. 888-861-2298.
A world at your fingertips gives you the advantage. Scan this right now. Weather, local news, community events, amazing video. It's cool. It's all yours. It's free. And it's on demand. Do it. Download the app from 19 News. Now you know.
BTV decodes the Andy Griffith Show.
It sure was slicker than a firehouse pole the way you took us all in.
That means you were very clever pulling a scheme on us. See if you can decode the Andy Griffith Show.
Weeknights at 8.
Our temperatures tonight expected to drop down into those low 30s, so we could see some of this drizzle freezing. So heads up if you are headed out anywhere this evening. That fog continuing into tomorrow morning. We've added Delta County, or I should say the National Weather Service has added Delta County to the mix, and Wisconsin as well as Minnesota expected to have that fog, which will continue into our Saturday as well as Sunday. Temperatures in Marquette tomorrow around 40, 42 there, and that fog and drizzle continuing till about 11 a.m. up here. And then I know we don't have a whole lot of snow on the ground, but there's plenty of things to do. If you're like my family, we like playing some cribbage. Sarah and I also like doing naps and movies. There's plenty of things you can still do and enjoy, even though there's not a whole lot of snow. 7-day outlook for Escanaba, those temperatures warming up to 46 and maybe 44 on Christmas Day. And again, those showers continuing. I got the foxes in, Sarah.
Love the fox videos there. One other thing that you could try out with the family this weekend, a new axe throwing venue is officially open in Negaunee Township. Razor Axe Marquette held its grand opening today, featuring a variety of beer and soft drinks, and of course Razor's full selection of weapons, including axes, knives, throwing stars, throwing cards, and even a batarang. You can be just like Batman. Razor Axe Marquette's owner says that they have something for everyone.
Basic standard throwing axe might not appeal to all, and we want a little bit for everyone to be able to throw. So we have some bigger axes for people to just hurl down the lanes, as well as we have some more precision type throwing instruments.
Anyone that wants to visit is encouraged to set up a reservation online. That is about the time that we have. We are wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. We won't see you here on Monday, but we will see you back on Tuesday.
And the snow's coming.
And the snow is coming.
Next year.
Yeah.
I mean, 2024.
More than likely. We'll see you Tuesday.
Overcoming drug addiction was difficult, but I found the path to recovery that worked for me. Treatment helped me come to terms with the issues in my life that caused me to use drugs. My friends and family made a huge difference in my recovery. I never gave up. I found my path, and I kept walking it.